Hey yo, what's up everyone? How we all doing? Back with a video that's one of my subscribers has been requesting this a lot, and some of his comments have got a few likes, so I imagine that you've wanted me to react to this for a while. I have no idea what this is. Obviously it says the deadliest plane ever, but I've never heard of the E-6. So let's just get into it because I really don't know. Kind of what I'm going to be looking at here.
It could nuke a country. The Pentagon's E-6 Mercury is America's deadliest plane ever.
Okay, well, that's a hell of an entrance. Oh shit, that looked like BBC then.
In a military that operates Raptor stealth fighters, A-10 tank busters, B-52 bombers, and F-35 Lightning II, the U.S. Navy's placid-looking E-6 Mercury, based on the 707 airliner, seems particularly inoffensive. But don't be deceived by appearances. Though the Mercury doesn't carry any weapons of its own, it may be, in a sense, the deadliest aircraft operated by the Pentagon, as its job is to command the launch of land-based and sea-based nuclear ballistic missiles.
Jeez, that's cool as fuck. I've never seen that before.
Of course, the U.S. military has a ground-based Strategic Global Operations Center in Nebraska and land-based transmitters for communicating with the nuclear triad. However, the E-6's sinister purpose is to maintain the communication link between the National Command Authority, starting with the President and Secretary of Defense, and U.S. nuclear forces, even if ground-based command centers are destroyed by an enemy first strike. In other words, you can chop off the head of the U.S. nuclear forces, but the body will keep coming at you thanks to these doomsday planes. The Boeing E-6 Mercury is an airborne command post and communications relay. The original E-6A, manufactured by Boeing's Defense Division, entered service with the United States Navy in July 1989, replacing the EC-130Q. This platform, now modified to the E-6B standard, conveys instructions from the National Command Authority to fleet ballistic missile submarines. The E-6B model, deployed in October 1998, also has the ability to remotely control Minuteman ICBMs using the Airborne Launch Control System.
It's just like, there's so much going on. Like, I get the logic behind purchasing one of these and having them, but America's just so far ahead of everyone's military. It's just like... do you need this? Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously it's cool as fuck, and for us it's interesting to watch and learn about. But I just feel at this point it's like, what are you preparing for? Like, what are you trying to do? I don't. Obviously it's cool as fuck, so I'm not moaning, but it's just funny that they just keep upgrading and keep buying more and more and more. It's like, does America know something that we don't? I don't know.
E-6B model, deployed in October 1998, also has the ability to remotely control Minuteman ICBMs using the Airborne Launch Control System. The E-6B replaced the Air Force EC-135CS in the Looking Glass role, providing command and control of U.S. nuclear forces should ground-based control become inoperable. The E-6's basic mission is known as Take Charge and Move Out, TACAMO. Prior to the development of the E-6, the TACAMO mission was undertaken by land-based transmitter and later EC-130G and Q Hercules aircraft, which had very low-frequency radios, VLF, for communication with Navy submarines. The very low-frequency communication system can pierce the ocean surface down to about 60 feet to connect with submarines lurking in the planet's vast undersea environment. A downside to this capability is that data transfer rates are appallingly slow, so only very simple communiques, like emergency action messages, can be transmitted, and huge antenna arrays are required to both send and receive those messages. The first of 16 E-6s entered service between 1989 and 1992. These were the last built in a very long line of military variants of the venerable Boeing 707 airliner, in particular the 707-320B Advanced, also used in the E-3 Sentry, Bristling with 31 communication antennas, the E-6As were originally tasked solely with communicating with submerged Navy submarines.
Okay.
Retrofitted with more fuel-efficient CFM56 turbojets and benefiting from expanded fuel tanks, the E-6A could remain in the air up to 15 hours or 72 with in-flight refueling. The E-6B's primary VLF antenna is just over 5 miles long. It also has a shorter one that's deployed via a trapdoor arrangement in its tail. The VLF antennas are stabilized with a drogue on its trailing end. The idea is to get the antenna as close to vertical as possible for maximum transmission effectiveness. This is done by putting the aircraft into a very steep and tight banking turn at a slow speed and above 20,000 feet, not far above the aircraft's stall speed.
All right.
These turns are repeated, oftentimes for hours at a time as messages are sent. To use its very low-frequency radios, an E-6 has to fly in a continuous orbit at a high altitude with its fuselage and tail-mounted VLF radios trailing 1 and 5-mile-long wire antennas at a near vertical altitude. The VLF signals can be received by Ohio-class nuclear ballistic submarines hiding deep underwater thousands of miles away. However, the VLF transmitter's limited bandwidth means they can only send raw data at around 35 alphanumeric characters per second, making them a lot slower than even the old 14K internet modems of the 1990s. Still, it's enough to transmit emergency action messages instructing the ballistic missile subs to execute one of a diverse menu of pre-planned nuclear attacks, ranging from limited to full-scale nuclear strikes. The E-6's systems are also hardened to survive the electromagnetic pulse from nuclear weapons detonating below. Between 1997 and 2006, the Pentagon upgraded the entire E-6A fleet to the dual-role E-6B, which expanded the Mercury's capabilities by allowing it to serve as an airborne nuclear command post with its own battle staff area for the job. In this role, it serves as a backup for the 4 huge E-4 command post aircraft based on the 747 jumbo jet. The E-6B has ultra-high frequency radios in its airborne launch control system that enable it to remotely launch land-based ballistic missiles from their underground silos, a task formerly assigned to U.S. Air Force EC-135 Looking Glass aircraft, yet another 707 variant. The E-6's crew was expanded from 14 to 22 for the command post mission, usually including an onboard admiral or general. Additional UHF radios give the E-6B access to the survivable Milstar satellite communications network, while the cockpit is upgraded with new avionics and instruments from the 737NG airliner. The E-6B can be distinguished in photos by its additional wing-mounted pods. The Mercury's abundant communications gear allows it to perform non-nuclear command, control, and communications, C3 operations as well. For this reason, E-6s have at times been deployed to Europe and the Middle East to serve as flying C3 hubs. For example, VQ-4 was deployed in Qatar for 3 years from 2006 to 2009, where it relayed information such as improvised explosive device blast reports and medical evacuation requests from U.S. troops in Iraq who were out of contact with their headquarters.
Right.
Two Navy Fleet Air Reconnaissance Squadrons currently operate the EV-6, VQ-3 Ironman, and VQ-4 Shadows, both under the Navy Strategic Communications Wing 1. These have their home at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma, but also routinely forward deploy out of Travis Air Force Base in California and Patuxent River Naval Air Station in Maryland. At least one E-6 is kept airborne at all times. E-6s on the submarine communication mission often fly in circles over the ocean at the lowest possible speed for as long as 10 hours at a time. Those performing the nuclear command post mission typically remain on alert near Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. The E-6's nuclear mission has also made its operations occasional fodder for conspiracy theorists and foreign propaganda outlets. The E-6 platform should remain in service until 2040 thanks to a service life extension program and continual tweaks to its systems and radios. While the Mercury has demonstrated its usefulness as an airborne communication hub for supporting troops in the field, The airborne command post will be considered a success if it never has to execute its primary mission. The heart of nuclear deterrence, after all, is convincing potential adversaries that no first strike will be adequate to prevent a devastating repose. The E-6s are vital components in making that threat a credible one. It's amazing to think that at any given time there's a portion of the 16 E-6B strong fleet either already in the air or sitting on alert at places like Travis Air Force Base in California and NAS Patuxent River in Maryland, as well as other far less predictable locales around the globe, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. Their primary job is an incredibly dark one. If called upon, they would directly facilitate the end of the world. But the fact that they are so capable of suddenly carrying out that mission ensures that they won't ever actually have to. With all of this in mind, the E-6B is truly one of the most important and fascinating aircraft types on Earth, and it does its job with a bit of aerobatic flair.
Yeah, so, okay. So that obviously goes without saying that that's an extremely cool piece of, like, equipment. Like, I didn't think that sort of thing existed. Well, that's just probably me being naive. But at the same time, I'm also thinking, like why? Like, I understand everything that he just said and, like, what it's capable of. But the American military is just so far in front of everyone, and I get that that needs to be maintained. But it's like there's an arms race going on inside of America itself. Like, I know it's like the American industrial complex, the military industrial complex, sorry. But it's just like, who are you guys racing? Like, I don't know. The comment's probably gonna get some dislikes. I enjoyed the video, don't get me wrong, and I enjoyed the plane, and like, I think it's extremely cool what it's capable of, and how, you know, it serves as a communications hub. Also as almost like a detonator for, like, nuclear explosives. The comment that you made about the fact that they could destroy the world, and for that reason they'll never have to, just doesn't make sense at all, if you really think about it. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. I kind of didn't know how to approach this reaction because I don't know. I just hope you guys understand that I agree that it's an extremely cool piece of equipment. Whether it's necessary, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just being super naive, but I don't know. I mean, it's necessary. It did state that, you know, it helped with communicating with soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan when there was out of communications with their FOBs. I get that. But let me know what you guys think. Is it necessary? Is it super cool? Do you care if it's necessary? I don't know. But peace out. Let me know what you guys think, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Peace.